right, shalom, shalom. First, foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect. All right. So, the topic of this lesson is going to be the Lord is not dealing with that weak faith. You know, the Lord is not dealing with that weak faith stuff, man. Okay. All right. Having weak faith and doubting and stuff like that, man. Hey, the Lord is not dealing with that stuff, man. All right, that stuff ain't cute, man. The Lord ain't sitting there like, oh, your faith is weak. Oh, look at the little baby. Oh, no, the Lord don't think that shit is cute, man. You know. All right, we are exhorted in the scriptures to believe wholeheartedly in the Lord. Okay, and there are so many very potent examples in the scriptures that the Lord has brought to my remembrance. Um, just to highlight the fact that the Lord really wants us to be fully confident in His power, okay, and to scoff at adversity, okay, to look at adversity and death and the trials of this life and be courageous. Now, granted, do we have our moments of, you know, worry and anxiety and even doubt? Yeah, those things happen, and the Lord does hold us through, okay. But hey, when the Lord does pull us through, man, that should be even more reason to believe and be fortified in the spirit for the next trial and for the next round in the spirit. Okay. So I just want to go into it in this lesson, man. Lord willing, this video is edifying. So I'm gonna start here with Mark chapter 5, verse 21. It says, and when Yahushua was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet and besought him greatly, saying, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Yahushua went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. Okay, so Jairus' daughter was, suffering of a deadly disease. So, before she, died, so to speak, right? Jairus, came to him, came to Yahushua. I was like, look, come to my house and lay hands on my daughter so she can live, and heal her, right? And so Yahushua is going to Jairus' house, and you know, the people are following him, and there are much crowds around him. Yahushua was famous. That's one thing. Sometimes we don't really talk about in the scriptures. Man, Yahushua was famous. You know, very renowned man. Okay, all right. It says, and so people are gathering around him, crowds pressing up against him. Right, it says, verse 25, and a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Yahushua, came in the press behind and touched his garment. Now, mind you, this woman is, unclean because of the issue of blood. Okay. All right. So she's not supposed to be around anyone. Okay. According to the law, she's unclean and she's supposed to be separated from amongst the people, from amongst the congregation. But she still believed, that she could be healed, by touching the hem of his garment, right? And on top of that, she had already suffered so much of many physicians. At that point, she could have been like, you know what, I spent all that I had. I've suffered. I've tried my best. I'm gonna just, give up, right? And just lost hope. Okay, but she was like, nah, man. Hey, when she had heard of Yahushua, she came in the press behind and touched his garment, and for she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. Right? Um, that's the themes of one of my favorite songs, by the way. Sam Cooke, touched the hem of his garment. Look up that song. It's gonna have the name of Jesus in it, but replace it for Yahweh Shai. It's a very inspiring hymn that Sam Cooke and I believe the Soul Stirrers wrote. back in the day, you know. She said, if I could just touch the hem of his garments, I know I'll be made whole. So yeah, verse 29 it says, and straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed from that plague. And Yahushua, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude throng thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? What are you talking about? Everybody's trying to touch you, right? It says, and everybody's around you, like you're being pressed on all sides. Of course, people are brushing up against you, right? It says, and he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague. Okay? So the Lord wants us to have complete and utter faith, man. You know, he wants us to have faith in him and his power. Okay? And just trust in him, regardless of the result. And what happens is that when we trust in him on that level, things just start happening, man. The Lord just start working miracles, man. He just starts showing up and showing out as he always does, right? Now, going back to the story of Jairus, right? Because this is kind of like a segue away of that, away from that. Verse 35, it says, while he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, right? So people came from his house, that might have lived with him, or neighbors or whatever. They said this, thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? Just give up. She already died. Ain't nothing, Yahushua can do further. And it says, as soon as Yahushua heard the word that was spoken, he said unto the ruler of the synagogue, be not afraid, only believe. It says, and he suffered no man to follow him save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. Right? So the Lord was like, hey, man, don't even sweat that. Only believe. Everything is going to be okay. Right? It says, and he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue and seeth the tumult and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, why make ye this ado and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel and them that were with him and entered in where the damsel was lying. Okay, so the Lord, he was like, yo, why y'all crying and, wailing and making this big ado of this? She ain't dead. She just sleeping. I'm going to bring her right back. She coming right back. And they mocked him. So what he did, he said, man, get out of here, man. He told everybody, hey, get out. Only his father and his mother was able to stay in the room. Okay. And it says, and he took the damsel by the hand and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is being interpreted, damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years, and they were astonished with great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given unto her to eat. Okay, so again, you see this example of Yahushua, man, just commanding us to believe, man, even in the face of death. Commanded believers to just believe. And the Lord wasn't with that doubting stuff, man. He wasn't with that weak faith madness, man. All right. He was like, only believe, man. And those who didn't want to believe, he told them, get on, man. Go on about your business, man. You don't need to see this since you don't want to believe. Okay. Now this is another story with Lazarus, right? This is the story with Lazarus. You got John 11. I'm going to go through it as much as I can, right? It says, the death and resurrection of Lazarus. John 11 and 1, it says, now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. and it was that Martha which anointed the Lord with, I'm sorry, it was that Mary which anointed the Lord with oil and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. When Yahushua heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now, Yahushua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, right? Because it was all real close. Right? It says, and he had heard, therefore, that he was sick. He abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that saith he to his disciples, Let's go into Judea again. His disciples saying to him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? Yahushua answered, Are there not 12 hours in a day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of the world. But if any man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth. I go, that I may awake him out of his sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit, Yahushua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest of sleep. Then said Yahushua unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent that ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. So the Lord literally allowed the situation of Lazarus' sickness to draw out to the point of death, just so he could, prove to people why they should believe in him. Okay? All right? It says, Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, let us also go, that we may die with him. Then when Yahushua came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh to Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Mary, as soon as she had heard that Yahushua was coming, went and met him. Then Martha, as soon as she had heard that Yahushua was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto the Lord, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. Yahushua saith unto her, Thy brother shall rise again. Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? She saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Hamashiach, the anointed, the Son of God, which should come into the world. So the Lord is exhorting people to believe, even though somebody has died. Okay. All right. The Lord is exhorting his disciples and believers and followers to believe, even though Lazarus was sick unto death and died, and he's been buried for 4 days. Okay. By this point in time, his body is decaying. So even in the face of death, the Lord is not with that doubt and shit. He's not. He just ain't with it. Okay. So those, these little trials and tribulations that we got, man, we got to believe that the Lord is with us, man, and he's going to deliver us in due time. Because if the Lord don't want us doubting in the face of death, all right, then he don't want us doubting in any other way either. Okay. All right. Ain't no excuse for that shit. Okay. It says, And when she had so said, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, The master is come and calleth for thee. As soon as she heard that, she rose quickly and came unto him. Now, Yahushua was not yet come into town, but was in the place where Martha met him. The Jews then, which were with her in the house, and comforted her, when they saw Mary, they rose up hastily and went out. She rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She goeth unto the grave to weep there. Then when Mary was come where Yahushua was and saw him, she fell down at his feet and said unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Yahushua therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Yahushua wept. So he was upset, because they not getting it. Like, bro, he gonna come right back. I'm trying to I'm letting the situation play out so y'all could see the power of the Lord through me in raising him from the dead. That's the whole point, and y'all not getting it, man. You know, and so we be going through different trials and tribulations, and it draws out, and we begin to die. We begin to doubt, and question and stuff like that, man. Where the really the Lord wants us to do is just be patient and just keep the faith. You know, all right, and in this situation, he was letting the situation draw out so that the power of the Lord could really be shown, and that people could really believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. And so that's why he was groaning in the spirit and weeping, because you get to a point of trying to explain something to somebody, and it gets so upsetting when they don't get it, and you just start breaking down, crying, not out of sadness, but out of frustration, man. Okay. It says, then said the Jews, behold how he loved him. So they don't even get it. And some of them said, could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? And Yahushua therefore again groaning in himself, man, y'all, man, probably talking under his breath, you know, breathing deeply, like, oh man, I'm saying, when how Jake get, like, you know, Yahushua therefore again groaning in himself coming to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Yahushua said, take ye the stone away. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. Yahushua saith unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of the Most High God? Did I say that to you at least twice by now, yo? you know? So Yahushua snapped at that moment, like, yo, hey, man, tighten up, man. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave cloths, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Yahushua saith unto them, loose him and let him go. And then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. Okay? All right. So there you go, man. There you go. All right. So that was the point, man. The Lord wanted people to believe on him, man. To believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. So even in death, the Lord is not with that, that weak faith shit. The Lord is not with that, man. Okay. We got to believe more strongly in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. All right, this is Matthew 14:22. It says, and straightway Yahushua constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitude away. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the city, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the 4th watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Yahushua spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. Peter answered him, said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. When Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt, man? And when they were coming to the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, "Of a truth, thou art the Son of the Most High." So much for we're not supposed to worship Yahweh, right? But blasphemy. But yeah, man, you see that? So the Lord is not with that weak faith, that little faith stuff, man. He was just walking on the water. Now you looking at the wind and the waves, and you doubting that the Lord is with you and all this stuff, man. You know, Lord kind of ranked them a little bit, like, oh, that why? What's the point of you? What was the point of that? You was just on the water. Now you looking at the wind and the waves, and now you sinking. You're tripping, dog. You asked me to come. I said come. Now you walking on it, and then some boisterous wind come, and you just start doubting when the whole time you was walking on water, man. So the Lord kind of ranked them a little bit, like, yo, man, you tweaking, dog. You know, so yeah, again, the Lord's not with that doubt and stuff, man. He's not with it. All right, so we gotta fully believe in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And one thing about the walking on water situation with Peter, because the flesh will come up with different excuses, right? Of why your doubt might feel justified. Oh, the wind was boisterous. Oh, the waves. I saw some lightning and I got spooked for. That's the flesh talking. Or in the case with Martha or with Jairus's household. Oh, they was dead. Because the flesh is the flesh. It's gonna react how it reacts, right? So you might think in the flesh you got a legitimate reason to doubt, and the flesh is just how it is, and I'm just feeling some kind of way, and you can't expect me to react any other way. The Lord don't give a fuck. The Lord, I'm just saying it plain. The Lord just don't give a fuck, man. The Lord wants us to look beyond what we can see and hear and taste and touch. He wants us to look beyond the flesh, man, and see things in the spirit and understand the depth and the greatness and the power of the Most High, man. Okay, and that He's truly in control of all things. Okay, and that He's on our side. He wants us to believe that. Okay, and that's that. He ain't looking for an explanation. You know what I'm saying? A narrative in your mind you done built and you confused and blah 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 blah. Okay, all right. The Lord ain't trying to hear none of that shit. He don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Only believe that's what He commanded. Okay. All right. This is Matthew 17 and 14. It says, when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down and to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For oftentimes he falleth into the fire and oftentimes into the water. And I besought him. I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Yahushua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer your ass, man? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yahushua apart and said, why could not we cast him out? Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith of a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. But still, if you would have had faith as a mustard seed, you would have been able to accomplish this, man. So the Lord don't like that doubt and shit, man. He said, man, y'all doubting? Are you faithless and perverse, man? How long am I have to keep dealing with y'all faithless ass niggas, man? So, hey, man, the Lord is not with that doubt and shit, man. That weak faith stuff, the Lord not dealing with that. We got to tighten up, man. Have more faith in the Lord, okay? Oh, but I got infirmities. Have faith. Oh, but my fuck that shit, bro. Have faith in the Lord. Keep trusting Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. The Lord told us, man, if we if we put Him first, the kingdom of the Most High and all of His righteousness, He gonna take care of us, man. Will we be tried? Will we have to go through things, and things may play out, a long time. You might be dealing with an infirmity or financial affliction or whatever affliction. But eventually the Lord going to deliver and give us the recompense anyway, man. So what's the point of doubting when we already know the end goal is? All right, we already know Yahweh Shai got us the victory. So we win, right? Through the Lord. Okay? All right, this is Hebrews chapter 3, verse 16. It says, "For some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all those that came out of Egypt by Moses, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Who was the Lord grieved and pissed off at, and they was irking his nerves for 40 years? Was it not them with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness, and to whom sware he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not? For we see that they could not enter in but because of unbelief." The Lord is not messing with that. We got to have faith in the Lord, man. It's going to be martyrs and Jacob's trouble. It's going to be famine and persecution. The Lord still want us to believe, man. We witnessing of the Lord before the eyes of the whole world. He want us to you know what I'm saying, stand on business and rep him, man. Because they don't know, man. And we got to tell them. We got to tell them about the Lord. So, and we got to show them that what the faith and fear of the Lord look like. And so when the judgments come, they can know, hey, how Bashem Yahushai did it, and he was dealing with these people. And when the miracles get performed, they could already know, oh, it's not Jesus, it ain't no Buddha shit, it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. That's how we're gonna make it out of here, man. Keep the faith, okay? That fake weak ass faith bullshit ain't right, okay? That shit ain't cute. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem HaKakodash, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, salutations to the elect. Shalom.